No one in the galaxy noticed Earth at first. It was a small planet, circling an average yellow star, far from the great trade routes and ancient empires. For thousands of years, alien civilizations expanded, fought wars, and built monuments without ever caring about that quiet system. But deep inside old alien databases, long buried under newer knowledge, Earth had already been counted. On the day humanity launched its first faster than light ship, ancient machines awakened across the galaxy. Devices older than living memory powered on for the first time in tens of thousands of years. They did not send alarms. They did not announce danger. They simply began to record. In a cold chamber beneath the capital world of the Varelian Union, a single red symbol appeared on a forgotten screen. A junior archivist noticed it by accident. The symbol matched something he had only seen once before in forbidden historical texts. His hands shook as he checked the system time. The prophecy had entered its first phase. Humanity did not know any of this. On Earth, the launch was a moment of joy. People watched screens, cheered, and cried as the ship vanished into the dark. Humans believed they were finally stepping into a larger universe. They had no idea the universe was already watching them. Within months, human ships explored nearby systems. They sent peaceful signals, mathematical greetings, and offers of contact. When the first alien response came, it was polite and careful. The Galactic Council agreed to observe before acting. Humans were strange but not impressive. They were fragile, short-lived, and divided by politics and culture. Their technology was clever, but behind most spacefaring species. Many council members laughed when the idea of fear was mentioned. This is a species from the old warnings? One elder asked. They can barely survive their own planet. Still, rules were rules. First contact was approved. The meeting took place on neutral ground. Human diplomats arrived nervous but hopeful. They wore simple clothing and carried no weapons. Their leader spoke openly, offering trade, shared science, and peace. The aliens smiled. They welcomed humanity to the galaxy. But behind those smiles, ancient memories stirred. One council member, old enough to remember when the prophecy was last discussed, studied the humans closely. Not their weapons, not their ships, their eyes. Humans looked tired, but determined, afraid, but curious, weak, but unbroken. The prophecy had described that look. It spoke of a species born on a harsh world, shaped by loss and struggle, a species that survived not because it was strong, but because it refused to give up. After the meeting, alien leaders returned to their worlds and locked themselves into private chambers. They reopened sealed archives and decrypted files marked with symbols of warning. The prophecy appeared again. It did not predict invasion. It predicted arrival. When the late-born walk among the stars, the text said, the balance will begin to bend. The prophecy warned that this species would suffer early failures. They would be tested, limited, and underestimated. But each challenge would sharpen them. The council debated what to do. Some wanted to destroy humanity before it grew stronger. Others argued that attacking would only fulfill the prophecy faster. In the end, they chose the safest path. They would watch. Humanity, unaware of the fear it caused, continued exploring. Their ships broke down often. Crews made mistakes. Some missions failed. But humans learned. Every loss became a lesson. Every failure improved the next attempt. Other species noticed how quickly humans adapted. Where others avoided danger, humans studied it. When a human ship rescued stranded alien miners from a radiation storm, the act was recorded and quietly added to the prophecy logs. The prophecy mentioned compassion. It said the feared species would help even when it gained nothing. That detail had always disturbed the ancient readers the most. Months passed. Human colonies remained small and fragile. Yet, wherever humans went, they connected. They shared food, stories, and laughter. They asked questions others had stopped asking. Some aliens began to like them. That frightened the council even more. Late one cycle, an ancient AI spoke for the first time in thousands of years. It had been created by the civilization that wrote the prophecy. Its message was short. Confirmation increasing, it said. Humanity aligns with projected pattern. The council sat in silence. They finally understood why the prophecy was feared more than war. War could be fought, weapons could be built, enemies could be destroyed. But humanity was not an enemy. Humanity was a change, and change could not be stopped with fleets. As human ships continued their slow, hopeful journey into the stars, the galaxy prepared, not for battle, but for something far more terrifying: the future. Humanity believed first contact had gone well. On Earth, news channels spoke of peace, cooperation, and a bright future among the stars. Children watched alien ambassadors on screens and dreamed of distant worlds. Scientists celebrated new shared knowledge. Traders planned routes beyond the solar system. To humans, the galaxy felt open. But beyond human space, the galaxy was quiet in a very different way. Across dozens of alien worlds, observation fleets moved into position. They did not cross borders or make threats. They stayed far away, hidden behind moons, stars, and dust clouds. Their mission was simple: watch the humans. Every human signal was recorded. Every ship movement was tracked. Every message was studied for patterns. Ancient prediction engines were brought online again, their systems slow and unstable after ages of silence. The results unsettled everyone. Humans did not expand like other species. Most empires spread fast, claiming space and resources with force or fear. Humans moved slowly. They argued among themselves. They questioned decisions. They failed often, yet every mistake made them better. When a human colony ship misjudged a star's gravity and barely escaped destruction, the next ship carried improved navigation systems. When early trade talks failed due to misunderstanding, humans changed their approach instead of blaming the other side. Adaptation speed rose beyond expectations. The ancient AI updated its projections. Deviation increasing, it warned. Human response time exceeds predicted limits. Some alien leaders demanded action. They are still weak, said one warlord species. Destroy them now. Others disagreed. Every attempt to stop them increases their unity, replied a council scholar. The prophecy warned against pressure. The prophecy was read again, line by line. It spoke of a moment when humans would realize they were being watched, a moment when kindness would meet suspicion, a moment when trust would be tested. That moment arrived sooner than expected. A human exploration vessel vanished near the edge of known space. There was no distress call, no debris, nothing. Humans noticed immediately. Search teams were sent. Messages were broadcast across alien channels asking for information. Most species denied knowledge, and technically, they spoke the truth. The ship had not been destroyed. It had been taken. A minor alien power, fearful and curious, had captured the vessel for study. They wanted answers before the larger empires acted. They believed secrecy would protect them. They were wrong. When humans discovered the truth, they did not attack. They did not threaten war. Instead, they sent a single message: we want our people back. The message was calm, direct, repeated again and again. The small alien power expected fear or rage. They had prepared weapons and shields. What they did not prepare for was patience. Humans waited. Days passed, then weeks. Human ships gathered near the border, but did not cross it. Supplies were sent to the captured crew through neutral channels. Medical aid was offered, even to the captors. Other species watched closely. The prophecy had spoken of this behavior. A species that values its own, the text said, yet refuses to become cruel. Eventually, the pressure became too much. The captors returned the ship. They apologized publicly, admitting fear. Humans accepted. No punishment followed. That decision shocked the galaxy. Most empires would have crushed such a mistake to send a message. Humans chose trust instead. But the trust was not blind. Human defenses quietly improved. Their fleets trained together more often. They were learning without fighting. The ancient AI recorded a sharp rise in influence markers. Humanity was changing the balance without firing a shot. Some alien citizens began asking questions. Why were humans treated with caution? Why did ancient systems activate around them? Why did leaders avoid speaking openly? Old stories resurfaced. Whispers of the prophecy spread among scholars and traders. Fear grew, not fear of invasion, but fear of inevitability. The council met again. This time, the tone was darker. We cannot stop them without becoming what we fear, one elder said. Another replied, then we must shape them. Plans were made to guide humanity's growth. Limit access, control trade, slow expansion, all done quietly, politely, and legally. The prophecy warned us too. When they are caged with rules, it said, they will test bars. On Earth, human leaders noticed changes. Trade routes were delayed. Permissions took longer. Technology sharing slowed. Friendly faces became careful. Humanity felt it. Something in the galaxy had shifted. Humans did not yet know about the prophecy. They did not know ancient machines were counting their steps. But they understood one thing clearly. They were no longer just explorers. They were being judged. And far away, beneath layers of forgotten metal and stone, the ancient AI prepared its next message. Phase 2 approaching, it announced. The watching eyes of the galaxy narrowed. Humanity was still weak, but it was no longer unseen. The changes came slowly. At first, humanity thought the galaxy was simply busy. Trade permits took longer to approve. Navigation corridors were suddenly under review. Joint research projects were delayed without explanation. No one said no. They just said later. Human diplomats noticed the pattern. Every request was answered with polite words and empty smiles. Alien representatives spoke of rules, stability, and balance. They praised humanity's potential while gently holding them back. Humans began to feel small again. On Earth, debates grew louder. Some leaders argued that humans should accept their place and grow patiently. Others believed something was wrong. They were both right. Behind closed doors, the Galactic Council tightened invisible walls around human space. Expansion limits were redrawn. Resource zones were quietly claimed by older empires. None of it broke the law, but all of it sent a message. Stay where you are. Humanity did not respond with anger. Instead, they adapted. Human engineers redesigned ships to travel farther with fewer resources. Scientists found ways to recycle energy more efficiently. Colonies learned to survive with less support from the wider galaxy. Pressure created focus. The prophecy had spoken of this phase. When the young are slowed, the ancient text said, they will learn endurance. Observation fleets noticed changes quickly. Human ships became more reliable. Crews trained harder. Command structures improved. Humans shared information openly across factions, something many alien species never managed. Unity was growing. One day, a border incident tested everything. A human mining station, legally built within approved space, was suddenly declared in violation of a new regulation. Alien enforcement ships arrived and demanded evacuation. The humans asked for time. They were given 1 hour. Cameras across the galaxy watched as human workers rushed to evacuate families and equipment. There were no threats, no weapons raised, just quiet urgency. When the hour ended, the station was empty. The enforcement ships destroyed it anyway. The message was clear. Humans did not retaliate. That frightened the galaxy more than war would have. Human leaders addressed their people that same day. The speech was calm, measured, and honest. We are not alone, the speaker said, and we are not welcome everywhere. But we will endure. No calls for revenge followed. No fleets mobilized. Humans returned to work. Alien analysts were confused. Most species responded to loss with violence or submission. Humans responded with resolve. The ancient AI updated its records again. Resistance through persistence confirmed. Whispers of the prophecy spread deeper now. Even younger species began to hear fragments of it. The idea that humanity was not a threat of destruction, but of transformation, terrified older empires. Change meant loss of control. Some council members pushed for stronger measures. Others warned that pressure was already reaching dangerous levels. The prophecy says they break when cornered, one scholar said, but not in the way we expect. Another incident followed. A human medical fleet entered a restricted system to help during a plague outbreak. They had no permission, but millions were dying. The humans did not wait for approval. They saved lives. When confronted, human commanders accepted the fines without protest. They did not apologize. "We would do it again," one said simply. Across the galaxy, ordinary citizens noticed. Human kindness did not come with demands. Their help was not a tool for power. Influence grew quietly. Some alien worlds began requesting human aid directly, bypassing the council. Trade networks shifted. Human advisors were welcome where ancient powers were mistrusted. The council realized too late what was happening. They had tried to limit humanity's reach, but instead, they had sharpened humanity's reputation. Trust became humanity's weapon, and trust was hard to fight. In a sealed chamber, the ancient AI delivered a new message to the council. Phase 3 conditions forming, it said. Unity probability rising. The elders knew what that meant. The prophecy warned that once humanity united, not by force, but by shared purpose, the balance of the galaxy would tip. Still, they hesitated. Humanity was still small, still fragile. Surely there was time. On Earth, humans felt the pressure but refused to break. They trained, built, and prepared not for war, but for survival. And in doing so, they became something the galaxy had not seen in ages. A species that could endure injustice without becoming cruel. The quiet pressure continued, but it was shaping humanity into something far more dangerous than an army, something patient, something united, and something the galaxy would soon have to face. The disaster began far from human space. A chain of stars near the outer trade routes destabilized without warning. Radiation storms spread across nearby systems, destroying ships and poisoning entire worlds. Millions of alien lives were suddenly at risk, the Galactic Council argued. Some members wanted to help. Others feared sending fleets into unstable space. Calculations were made. Costs were counted. Time passed. Humans did not wait. The first human rescue ships launched within hours of the news reaching Earth. They carried medical teams, food, shelters, and evacuation craft. Many of the systems they entered were restricted or dangerous. Human captains knew the risks. They went anyway. Alien observers were stunned. Humans had no treaties with most of the affected worlds. No profits waited for them there. But human ships pushed through radiation storms, losing several vessels in process. They kept going. On dying planets, humans worked side by side with alien survivors. They treated wounds, shared supplies, and stayed until the last evacuation ship lifted off. Human lives were lost. Human leaders announced the losses publicly. There were no speeches of glory, only quiet respect. The galaxy watched. The prophecy had warned of this moment. When suffering spreads, it said, they will move toward it, not away. Council members felt fear, not because humans were powerful, but because they were consistent. Other species began asking a dangerous question. If humans act like this while weak, one citizen asked, what will they become when strong? After the crisis, saved worlds sent thanks. Some offered trade rights. Others offered territory or military alliances. Humans refused most of it. We helped because it was right, their diplomats said, not for reward. That answer unsettled ancient empires. Power that refused payment could not be controlled. The council responded quickly. New regulations were announced. Human fleets would now require approval for humanitarian actions beyond approved zones. Humans protested peacefully. They followed the rules until another crisis came. This time, a small alien colony suffered a reactor failure. Without help, the population would die within days. The council delayed approval. Human ships launched anyway. They arrived in time. Lives were saved. Fines followed. Trade penalties increased. Human access to galactic markets shrank. Humans accepted the punishment. They did not stop helping. Across human worlds, something changed. People from different nations and factions began working closer together. Disagreements remained, but purpose united them. Protect life. Stand together. Endure. The prophecy described this too. When they choose compassion over fear, it warned, others will follow. And they did. Independent alien systems began cooperating with human networks. Shared clinics were built, mixed crews formed, trust spread where authority failed. The council's control weakened. Some members panicked. This is how it starts. One elder said, "They are not conquering. They are replacing us." Another replied, "We created this. We pushed them into this role." In a forgotten archive, the ancient AI completed another cycle of analysis. Humanity influence a passing threshold. It reported. Nonviolent dominance pattern confirmed. The phrase chilled the chamber. Dominance without war. The worst kind. On Earth, human citizens began hearing rumors. Stories of ancient warnings. Of hidden fears. Of a prophecy that spoke of them. Human leaders denied it at first, but the galaxy's behavior no longer made sense without it. Something older than politics was moving. Humanity was at the center of it. Despite pressure, humans did not seek revenge. They expanded slowly, carefully. They focused on resilience rather than control, and that restraint made them dangerous. The council called an emergency session. Some demanded direct action. Others warned that attacking humans would unite them fully and fulfill the prophecy completely. Silence followed. The prophecy's final stages were clear. When they stand together by choice, it said, the galaxy will no longer be the same. Humanity was close now, closer than anyone had planned, and the galaxy was running out of ways to stop it. Fear finally broke the silence. The Galactic Council no longer spoke of patience or balance. Too many systems were slipping from their influence. Too many voices trusted humans more than ancient powers. Control became the new strategy. New laws were passed quietly but enforced strictly. Human ships were limited to specific corridors. Communication relays were monitored. Trade quotas were reduced without explanation. Everything was legal. Everything was suffocating. Human merchants struggled to move goods. Colonies felt shortages. Research projects slowed as materials became harder to obtain. For the first time, human progress truly stalled. The council watched closely. They expected anger. They expected chaos. Instead, humans adjusted. Communities shared resources. Engineers redesigned machines to work with fewer materials. Scientists turned limits into challenges. Humans spoke less about expansion and more about sustainability. Pressure created efficiency. The prophecy had warned of this. When confined, the text said, they become harder to break. Still, the council pushed further. A major human shipyard was declared a security risk. Access was revoked. Alien patrols surrounded the station, claiming protection of galactic stability. Human workers were ordered to leave. They refused, not violently, not loudly. They simply stayed. Human civilians, engineers, and families remained inside the station, continuing their work. They broadcast everything openly. No weapons were raised. No threats were made. The galaxy watched the standoff in silence. Destroying the station would kill civilians. Letting it stand would show weakness. Days passed. Alien patrols waited for panic. None came. Human voices stayed calm. Crews slept in shifts. Children attended lessons. Work continued under watchful alien guns. Public opinion shifted across the galaxy. This is not aggression, many said. This is dignity. Council leaders argued behind closed doors. Some demanded force. Others warned that violence would ignite sympathy for humanity on a scale never seen before. In the end, the patrols withdrew. The station remained. The council lost face. Fear deepened. Humanity had resisted without resistance. That terrified ancient powers more than rebellion ever could. Soon after, something worse happened. A human colony near a disputed border was attacked by raiders. The raiders were not officially tied to any empire, but their weapons were advanced and clearly supplied. The attack killed hundreds. Human leaders waited for the council to respond. Nothing happened. No investigation. No justice. That was the moment something changed inside humanity. Grief spread across Earth and the colonies, but it did not turn into hatred. It turned into clarity. Humans understood now. The galaxy would not protect them. They would have to protect each other. Human fleets mobilized, not for war, but for defense. Patrol routes expanded. Communication between human factions increased. Old political rivalries faded under shared purpose. Alien sensors noticed the change immediately. Human response times dropped. Coordination improved. Decisions became faster and more unified. The ancient AI activated again. Unity indicators rising sharply. It announced, Phase 5 approaching. Council members felt a cold fear settle in. They had tried control. They had tried pressure. Now they had triggered the prophecy's most dangerous stage. Humans still did not attack, but they no longer waited. Human ships began escorting vulnerable worlds, human and alien alike, without asking permission. They intercepted raiders. They exposed illegal arms routes. They shared evidence openly. The galaxy saw the truth. Some empires had used fear to control. Humanity used transparency to protect. Trust shifted rapidly. Independent systems aligned with human defense networks. Trade routes reorganized around human stability zones. Influence moved without conquest. The Council's authority weakened further. In an emergency meeting, a final option was discussed. Open war. The proposal was rejected by a narrow margin, not because humans were strong, but because the prophecy was clear. If they are attacked as one, it said, they will become what they never wished to be. Humanity still believed peace was possible, but they were preparing for a galaxy that might not allow it. Across human space, a quiet message spread, not from leaders, but from people. Stand together. Protect each other. Endure. The galaxy felt it. The prophecy was no longer a warning. It was becoming reality. And fear, once used as a weapon against humanity, had finally forged them into something unbreakable. The day did not begin with war. There were no alarms, no explosions, no fleets rushing into battle. Instead, it began with silence. Across Earth and every human colony, communication channels opened at the same time. Leaders from rival nations, corporations, and factions appeared together on shared screens. Some had been enemies for generations. They spoke calmly. The galaxy has made its choice, one said. Now we must make ours. For the first time in human history, borders stopped mattering. Defense networks merged. Data was shared without restriction. Military codes, once guarded like secrets, were open to every human command. Old arguments about power and control faded under a single truth. If humanity fell, it would fall together. Alien sensors detected the shift within minutes. Human signals changed pattern. Communication traffic increased, but became cleaner and more focused. Redundant systems disappeared as networks merged. The ancient AI reacted instantly. Unity threshold crossed. It announced, prophecy alignment confirmed. The council received a message in stunned silence. They had feared this moment for ages. Human fleets did not grow larger overnight. They did not need to. What changed was how they moved. Ships from different factions flew as one. Commands flowed smoothly, without delay or confusion. Efficiency replaced rivalry. Humanity did not declare war. They declared protection. A single broadcast echoed across human and allied systems. No more will we wait for permission to survive. It was not a threat. It was a statement. Almost immediately, raider attacks stopped. Criminal fleets vanished. Illegal arms shipments were intercepted before launch. Human patrols worked with local forces, sharing tactics openly. Alien citizens felt safer. That frightened their leaders. Some council members panicked. They accused humanity of building an empire. Others argued it was too late to reverse course. Then came the test. A major alien power moved a fleet toward a human-aligned system, claiming a security inspection. The fleet was large enough to overwhelm local defenses. Humanity responded within seconds, not with a fleet of their own, but with information, evidence of illegal actions, corruption, and hidden war crimes committed by the empire-flooded public networks. Records were precise, verified, impossible to deny. The attacking fleet stopped. The empire withdrew in shame. The galaxy understood something new. Humanity did not need superior weapons. They had clarity. They fought with truth. The prophecy had warned of this. They will not rule through fear, it said. They will rule through example. Human leaders held their ground. They offered talks, cooperation, and shared security. They asked for nothing but fairness. Some empires accepted. Others watched, afraid and uncertain. Within weeks, a new balance formed. Not an alliance, not an empire, a network. Human systems became centers of stability. Trade flourished under human protection. Science advanced through open cooperation. Even long hostile species began working together. The Council's authority collapsed quietly. In a final meeting, elders faced the ancient AI. Was this avoidable? One asked. The AI paused longer than ever before. Yes, it said, by choosing trust earlier. The elders understood then. They had feared humanity not because of what humans were, but because of what they represented. Change without control, strength without cruelty, unity without conquest. Humanity did not celebrate their rise. There were no parades, no claims of victory. They simply continued. Across human worlds, people returned to daily life. Children studied beside alien classmates. Crews of mixed species worked together in shipyards and labs. The galaxy had not been conquered. It had been reshaped. Still, the prophecy was not finished. One final passage remained. When the galaxy accepts them, it said, they will choose what comes next. Humanity now stood at that choice, and the galaxy waited. The galaxy changed without a single declaration. There was no announcement of new order, no throne claimed, no empire renamed. Yet everyone felt it. Trade routes shifted. Old alliances weakened. Ancient borders lost meaning. And at the center of it all stood humanity. Alien leaders who once ignored humans now requested meetings. Some came with respect. Others came with fear hidden behind polite words. Human diplomats treated them all the same. Calm, fair, open. That consistency unsettled the old powers. For ages, the galaxy had been ruled by strength, fear, and tradition. Humanity offered something different. They offered cooperation without control. Many worlds accepted quickly. Some resisted. One ancient empire, older than most stars in its region, refused to adapt. Its leaders believed the prophecy was exaggerated. They believed humanity was still fragile. To prove it, they cut off all human-aligned trade passing through their territory. Systems depending on those routes began to suffer. Humanity responded within hours, not with fleets, with alternatives. New routes opened through dangerous regions others avoided. Human engineers stabilized unstable jump points. Human crews accepted higher risks to keep supplies moving. They succeeded. The Empire's blockade failed. Its authority cracked. Citizens began questioning their leaders. Protests spread. The Empire fractured from within, not because humanity attacked, but because humanity removed the fear holding it together. The prophecy echoed through old archives. They will not destroy your cities, it said. They will make them unnecessary. Council elders realized the final truth too late. Humanity did not seek power. Power followed them, because people trusted them, because humans endured what others avoided, because humans acted when others waited. Across the galaxy, old systems collapsed quietly, not in flames, but in silence. Human networks replaced them, not as rulers, but as foundations. The council dissolved itself soon after. Its final statement admitted failure. We feared war, it said, but we feared change more. The ancient AI issued its last update. Prophecy fulfilled, it announced. Outcome within optimal survival parameters. For the first time, the AI powered down by choice. Humanity had passed every test, not of strength, but of restraint. On Earth, humans watched the stars with mixed emotions: pride, fear, responsibility. They had become something larger than a species. They had become a standard, and standards are harder to fight than armies. The galaxy now faced its final question. What would humanity do next? Part 8. Why the prophecy feared humanity. The prophecy was finally revealed to the public. Ancient texts were translated and shared openly. Humans read the words that had haunted the galaxy for ages. It never called humanity evil. It never called them conquerors. It called them inevitable. The prophecy explained why. Humans suffered, but they adapted. Humans failed, but they learned. Humans feared, but they acted anyway. Most species avoided pain. Humans grew through it. The prophecy feared humanity not because they destroyed, but because they endured without becoming cruel. It feared a species that could hold power and still choose mercy, a species that could win and refuse to rule. Humanity made its choice clear. They did not claim the galaxy. They protected it. They helped build systems that prevented fear from becoming law. They taught cooperation as survival, not weakness. The galaxy did not bow to humanity. It stood beside them. And for the first time in its long, violent history, the stars grew quiet, not from fear, but from trust. The prophecy ended with a final line, often ignored before. If they choose compassion, it said, they will not end the galaxy. They will save it. And that was why the prophecy had been feared more than war, because war destroys. But humanity changed everything and left the galaxy alive. Years passed. The galaxy did not become perfect. Conflict still existed. Mistakes were still made. But something fundamental had changed. Fear was no longer the foundation of power. Humanity never built a throne among the stars. They built bridges instead, between worlds, species, and ideas that once refused to meet. Old alien children study human history in schools, not as a warning, but as a lesson. They learn how humans had nearly destroyed themselves many times, and how they survived by choosing cooperation over pride. That lesson mattered. Human fleets slowly reduced their presence. Defense networks were handed over to shared councils made of many species. Humanity did not cling to control. They trusted others to grow. Some alien leaders once asked a human representative a simple question: why didn't you rule us when you could? The human paused before answering. Because we know what it feels like to be ruled by fear. That answer spread faster than any fleet. In a quiet system near the edge of explored space, the ruins of the ancient civilization that wrote the prophecy were finally uncovered. Human and alien scientists explored them together. They found one last message. Not a warning, not a prediction, a hope. We feared them. The message said, because we never learned what they already knew, that strength means nothing without mercy. Humanity stood among the ruins, not as conquerors of prophecy, but as proof that it could be overcome. The galaxy moved forward together, and for the first time in history, the future was not written in fear. It was written in choice.